Hey, today is the 1-year anniversary of our campaign. I am so excited with everything we've done this year, and I am grateful for your help in every single way. Today, April 12th, is also Equal Pay Day, so we've got a lot of work to do there.
Filled with promise and opportunity, and not of fear, demagoguery, or radicalism. Only Hillary can bring us together as one nation, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
And then the dog was barking on the radio. And so, people were like barking at each other for days after that. I'm trying to figure out how we can do that with the Republicans. We need to get that dog and follow them around, and every time they say these things, like, the Great Recession was caused by too much regulation. I think we could cut right through a lot of their claims.
Well, speaking of Trump,
which you seem to do a lot of, Jimmy.
he's the best thing that happened to our show. I mean, he's in every monologue. He's just.
Well, have you ever been able to let you touch his hair?
His real hair?
His real hair. Have you ever really touched it?
He's only been here, it feels like a hologram when he's here. It's just that, no, I've never touched his real, I don't know. I think it is real hair. He's never let me touch his hair, no.
You want to touch mine?
Of course.
Sure, okay, go ahead.
It's real! It's real! It's real, and it's real, and it's got wave, and it's fantastic, you guys, and it smells great.
You can't say the same thing about the color, but, the hair
but
is
you're getting
real.
close, yeah.
It's getting close.
We can work on that, yeah.
Exactly. I'm just chilling in Cedar Rapids.
Subway ride.
Yay!
Right?
We're jammed in there. We gotta move a little bit, Dan. We gotta get more people in.
How long has it been since you rode the subway, Madam Secretary?
I was trying, a year and a half, something like that. Yeah.
Around New York?
Yeah, just going around New York. So, I love it because it's so convenient. It is just the best way to get around. But I could go more stream of consciousness. This is a huge election. You never know what might happen. Let's get rid of the people that don't agree with us and only talk to the people who do. You could do that without a teleprompter.
Yeah, that's perfect. Yeah. All right, yeah. That was a good impression. If I need something, I'm going to call you.
If for some reason you decided to be leader of the United States, or actually run for that, because there is a process.
Yeah, there is a process. It's not
and
like
you got elected, and people said, you know what?
I mean, you can imagine the conversation with Putin. He was prime minister after he was president, and then one day he says, Vladimir, you think you'd like to be president again? I think I would, actually. Why don't we just go announce it? We'll tell Dmitry that he can be prime minister. Excellent idea. So, yeah, we have a process, yes.
He went to University College at Oxford, where he'd spent those very happy 2 years as a Rhodes Scholar, and the man at the gate recognized him. He said, "Oh, Clinton, I hear you've been elected king of a place with 2 men and a dog."
I don't feel no ways tired. I call
come too far from where I started from. Nobody told me that the road would be easy. I don't believe he brought me this far to leave me.
What's something that you always carry with you?
Hot sauce.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah.
Really?
Are you getting information right now?
Hot sauce.
Hot sauce in my bag, Swag?
Hot sauce.
Really?
Yes.
Now listen, I
yes.
just want you to know, people are going to see this and say, okay, she's pandering to black people again.
Okay. Is it working?
If we have more police interacting with people, having them on the streets, we can prevent crimes. We can prevent petty crimes from turning into something worse. But we also have to have an organized effort against gangs, just as in a previous generation we had an organized effort against the mob. We need to take these people on. They are often connected to big drug cartels. They are not just gangs of kids anymore. They are often the kinds of kids that are called super predators. No conscience, no empathy. We can talk about why they ended up that way, but first we have to bring them to heel, and the President has asked the FBI to launch a very concerted effort against gangs everywhere.
Making sure that South Carolina became the first state with body cameras. There's more work to be done, but got to lay down these markers. You got to build toward common sense gun reform, criminal justice reform, and all the like. So I think we've got a very, I think we've got somebody saying here, we have to bring them
apologize for mass incarceration.
Okay, we'll talk
I'm
about
not a super predator, Hillary Clinton.
Okay, fine, we'll talk about it.
Can you apologize to black people for mass incarceration?
Well, can I talk, and then maybe you can listen to what I say? Okay, fine. Thank you very much. There's a lot of issues in this campaign. The very first speech that I gave back in April was about criminal justice reform and about
predators.
You're being rude. It's not appropriate.
Super predators.
This is not appropriate.
That's rude.
Now, you want to hear the facts, you just want to talk.
I know that you called black people super predators in 1994. Please explain the record. Explain it to us. You owe black people an apology.
Well,
excuse us. That's an inappropriate
if you will give me a chance to talk, I'll approach your subject. You know what? Nobody's ever asked me before. You're the first person to ask me, and I'm happy to address it, but you are the first person to ask me here. Okay, back to the issues. The issue.
It's a pleasure and honor to be in this dialogue with you. But I think that a huge part of what you haven't said is you've offered a recognition that mass incarceration has not worked. And that is an unfortunate consequence of government practices that just didn't work. But the truth is that there's an extremely long history of unfortunate government practices that don't work, that particularly affect black people and black families. And until we as a country, and then the person who's in the seat that you seek, actually addresses the anti-blackness current that is America's first drug. We're in a meeting about drugs, right? America's first drug is free black labor and turning black bodies into profit. And the mass incarceration system mirrors an awful lot like the prison plantation system. It's the same. It's a similar thread, right? And until someone takes that message and speaks that truth to white people in this country, so that we can actually take on anti-blackness as a founding problem in this country, I don't believe that there's going to be a solution, because what the conversations that are happening now and why there's so much cohesion across the divide, the red side and the blue side, is because of money. Right? We're spending a lot of money on prisons. We're spending more money on prisons than we are on schools, right? But if we look at it from a lens of let's solve this financial problem, and we don't look at the greater bottom line that African Americans who are Americans are suffering at greater rates than most other people, every other people, for the length of this country, then it's not going to go away. It's just going to morph into something new and evolve. And I genuinely want to know, you and your family have been, in no uncertain way, partially responsible for this, more than most. Now, there may have been unintended consequences, but now that you understand the consequences, what in your heart has changed that's going to change the direction of this country? Like, what in you, like, not your platform, not what you're supposed to say. Like, how do you actually feel that's different than you did before? Like, what were the mistakes? And how can those mistakes that you made be lessons for all of America, for a moment of reflection on how we treat black people in this country?
I just want to, and I apologize, we have a bunch
I would
of
really
people.
love to
Of
allow her
course.
to answer
Yeah, no,
this question.
I'm not
and
stopping.
we've worked really hard. We've driven so many hours.
We're not stopping.
And
I'm just letting you guys know before we've got a couple more minutes. We still have more people in the overflow that are waiting. So I'm not interrupting what you're about to say. I just wanted to sort of give you guys a heads up on timing. So we've got limited time.
Well, obviously, it's a very thoughtful question. It deserves a thoughtful answer. And I can only tell you that I feel very committed to and responsible for doing whatever I can. I've spent most of my adult life focused on kids through the Children's Defense Fund and other efforts to try to give kids, particularly poor kids, particularly black kids and Hispanic kids, the same chance to live up to their own God-given potential as any other kid. That's where I've been focused. And I think that there has to be a reckoning. I agree with that. But I also think there has to be some positive vision and plan that you can move people toward. I mean, once you say, this country has still not recovered from its original sin, which is true. Once you say that, then the next question by people who are on the sidelines, which is the vast majority of Americans, the next question is, well, so what do you want me to do about it? What am I supposed to do about it? That's what I'm trying to put together in a way that I can explain it and I can sell it. Because in politics, if you can't explain it and you can't sell it, it stays on the shelf. And this is now a moment in time, just like the civil rights movement or the women's movement or the gay rights movement or a lot of other movements reached a point in time. The people behind that consciousness raising and advocacy, they had a plan ready to go. So that when you turn to, the women's movement, we want to pass this and we want to pass that and we want to do this, problems are not all taken care of, we know that. Obviously, I know more about the civil rights movement in the old days because I had a lot of involvement in working with people. So they had a plan, this piece of legislation, this court case we're going to make, et cetera, et cetera. Same with the gay rights movement. We're sick of homophobia, we're sick of being discriminated against, we want marriage equality, and we're starting in the States and we're going to keep going until we get it at the highest court of the land. So all I'm saying is your analysis is totally fair. It's historically fair, it's psychologically fair, it's economically fair. But you're going to have to come together as a movement and say, here's what we want done about it. Because you can get lip service from as many white people as you can hack into Yankee Stadium and a million more like it, who are going to say, oh, we get it, we're going to be nicer, okay? That's not enough, at least in my book. That's not how I see politics. So the consciousness raising, the advocacy, the passion, the youth of your movement is so critical. But now all I'm suggesting is, even for us sinners, find some common ground on agendas that can make a difference right here and now in people's lives. And that's what I would love to, have your thoughts about, because that's what I'm trying to figure out how to do. So yeah, deal with mass incarceration. It's not just an economic issue, although I grant you, some people see it like that. But it's more than that. I think there is a sense like, low-level offenders, disparity in treatment, we got to do something about that. I think that a lot of the issues about housing and about, job opportunities, ban the box, a lot of these things, let's get an agenda that addresses as much of the problem as we can. Because then you can be for something, in addition to getting people to have to admit that they're part of a long history in our country of, either proposing, supporting, condoning discrimination, segregation, etc.
now what do we do next? And that's what I'm trying to figure out in my campaign. So that's what I'm doing.
Okay. No, seriously, hot sauce. I've been eating a lot of hot sauce, a lot of raw peppers and hot sauce.
That's why you're coughing. You might need to slow down a
I
little.
need to yeah, I'm having a rebellion. Excuse me.
You need some water, Madam Secretary?
How will you use your husband, Bill Clinton, in the administration? We assume he won't be.
So this scholarship program is exactly what we need, and I've been talking all day, so excuse me. Right. There must be consequences. Let's see if I get some water here. You do talk a lot in this campaign.
Would you?
Sorry. So we've come a long way in a short period of time. A lozenge. A lozenge. And that is.
I was reading in the paper yesterday, and this is what happens in these long campaigns. You get the.
Yes.
So, Congressman.
Excuse me, just 1 second here. A lot. Excuse me. What economic statecraft is all about.
Well, you know what? I won't hold you on here any longer because you probably could use some water there.
I had the utmost confidence in both of them.
Hey, David, you talk. So.
Go back to the last questioner.
We want to hear from all of you about what more we can do together.
You know, it was Speaker Boehner who, as a matter of fact, last Tuesday, Madam Secretary, Speaker Boehner acknowledged to Fox News the allegation that the U.S. government was involved in an illegal weapons program in Libya.
And at the risk of coughing any longer, I just want to say thank you and let's get to work.
The chair will now recognize the gentlelady from Alabama, Ms. Roby.
Secretary Clinton, I want to follow up on questions about the night of the attack and decisions made then. You wrote in your book, Hard Choices, that you were directing the State Department response the night of September 11th, 2012, but you also stated that you left your office on the night of the attacks and went to your home in Northwest Washington because you said you knew the next few days were going to be taxing and the department was going to be looking to you. I want to talk about a few things. Do you have a skiff in your home?
Yes, I did.
Okay, and who else was at your home? Were you alone?
I was alone, yes.
The whole night?
Well, yes, the whole night.
Well, I don't know why that's funny. I mean, did you have any in-person briefings? I don't find it funny at all.
I'm sorry, a little note of levity at 7:15.
Well, I mean, the reason I say it's not funny is because it went well into the night when our folks on the ground were still in danger. So I don't think it's funny to ask you if you were alone the whole night.
Congresswoman, you asked if I had a skiff. I had secure phones. I had other equipment that kept me in touch with the State Department at all times. I did not sleep all night.
But you overruled those career diplomats. I mean, they report to you, and you're the chief diplomat of the United States. Go ahead and read the note if you need to.
I have to.
I'm not done with my question. I'm just giving you the courtesy of reading your notes.
That's all right.
All right.
That you went to and spoke to and told them, oh, you weren't responsible for the crash, not by a long shot. And that's why today you still cannot support, as I do, breaking up the big banks and making sure that we pass a modern-day Glass-Steagall like we had in late 1999 before it was repealed and led to the crash where so many millions of families lost their jobs and their homes. And I was on the front lines of that, looking into the eyes of my neighbors.
Governor O'Malley, thank you. I do want to ask you, Secretary Clinton. Hi, Secretary Clinton. Will you release a transcript of your paid speeches to Goldman Sachs? No, there's a lot of controversy over your speeches. Secretary. Is that a no? Secretary Clinton. Will you release a transcript of your Goldman Sachs speeches? Yes.
I think New York State should recognize gay marriage.
No.
No. Okay.
I have not supported same-sex marriage. I have supported civil partnerships and contractual relationships. I support marriage for lesbian and gay couples. I support it personally and as a matter of policy and law.
Last month in Ohio, you said you plead guilty to, quote, being kind of moderate and center. Do you change your political identity based on who you're talking to?
No, I think that, like most people that I know, I have a range of views, but they are rooted in my values and my experience.
You know, I get accused of being kind of moderate and center. I plead guilty.